friends. This is the program Empire of Lies, where we discuss manipulation and disinformation in the Russian media, when the nuclear cudgel becomes the last argument. In the new episode of 60 Minutes, Russia once again looks to the past and calls it the future. Olga Skabeeva solemnly announces Russia's nuclear triad has been renewed, and then announces that the country is ready to resume nuclear testing. The plot is structured like a war drama, with lines from Putin, Belousov and Trump, and archival footage of the Tsar Bomba and the Nevada tests. But behind this cinematic backdrop lies not a show of force, but a demonstration of impotence. Nuclear pride as a replacement for the future. What Russian television calls renewing the triad is, in reality, a ritual. Each such episode repeats the same scenario. The United States is the aggressor, Russia is the keeper of the balance, and nuclear weapons are a symbol of salvation. Skabeeva explains, Russia doesn't want to withdraw from the test ban treaty, but it will conduct them if America starts first. Thus, Moscow absolves itself of responsibility in advance. Any action will be a response, any test forced. This is how a new morality of war is being formed, a war without a beginning, where the blame always lies elsewhere. And while in the 1960s, Soviet propaganda at least disguised nuclear stories with slogans about progress, today this language is devoid of even ideology. It is based solely on fear of losing status, influence, meaning. Hello, dear friends and comrades. Your favorite program, 60 Minutes, is live, hot off the press. So, the Kremlin announced that Russia's nuclear triad has been updated right now. It is the most modern on our planet. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump continues to exacerbate the situation. At the forum in Miami, he issued a new batch of rather contradictory comments. Once again, he erroneously claimed that Washington has more nuclear warheads than Moscow. He again announced that he had ordered the Pentagon to immediately begin nuclear weapons testing, despite the fact that the Department of Energy, not the Pentagon, is responsible for nuclear testing in the US. Trump also stated that he still doesn't like weapons of mass destruction. He is a supporter of denuclearization, allegedly wanting to develop a plan according to which the US, Russia and China would renounce nuclear weapons altogether. Against this backdrop, the White House is announcing an announcement from the US president. Trump will make it today at 7 p.m. Moscow time. The topic has not been announced. Everything we know about the nuclear escalation. Watch our report. Russia announced it is preparing to begin full-scale nuclear testing in the Arctic. This comes after the US military today launched an unarmed Minuteman, 3 intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time in 3 decades, following President Trump's order to resume testing of the vast American nuclear arsenal. From science to fetish. The program transforms the history of nuclear testing into an almost religious narrative, from Oppenheimer and Trinity to the Tsar Bomba over the Arctic. The tone is not condemnatory, but enthusiastically educational. The host doesn't ask why humanity should repeat the mistakes of the mid-20th century. Everything is presented as if nuclear explosions are a natural manifestation of national sovereignty. This isn't a discussion about technology, it's a cult. Russia isn't simply updating its arsenal, it's trying to prove to the world that, in a world without ideology or allies, its weapons are the only thing that gives its existence meaning. The nuclear charge is becoming not a military category, but a political metaphor. If they don't respect us, they will fear us. America as a mirror. Skabeeva constructs a mirror image. Trump is aggressive. Putin is restrained. America is losing control. Russia is forced to respond. But the same tone is heard across the ocean. Old powers, having lost their confidence, are seeking support not in the future, but in the past. In fact, both Moscow and Washington today speak the same language, the language of nuclear retrograde. And this is perhaps the most alarming thing. Both sides, steeped in memories of the Cold War, are beginning to act as if history has taught them nothing. The testing range as a metaphor for the state. When Skabeeva announces on air that Russian test sites are ready for testing, it sounds not only like military news, but also like a metaphor for the state of the country. Readiness for nuclear testing is a readiness to live in isolation, in constant mobilization, in endless anticipation of a threat. Russia is turning the very possibility of an explosion into a form of political existence, where development ends, defense begins, and where there are no more ideas, only missiles remain. What does this mean for Europe? Europeans should not perceive such broadcasts as a direct threat. This is not a war plan. It is a television ritual intended to convince domestic audiences that Russia is still a superpower. But it is important to understand this ritual. Behind it lies an attempt to regain a sense of control lost in the economy, diplomacy, and culture. When television